have not pitted. Actually, top 6 cars have yet to pit. And they're just getting in their window here.
I told you Earnhardt Jr. and Burton made it to pit road before the caution was thrown and the pit road was closed. I was questioning, did David Reagan get there in time? Let's see what we can see. Nope.
Well, what he's able to do, though, he can...
That was Mark Martin managed to make a turnout.
You just have to go down pit road and then come back and make his stop.
Yep.
David Reagan.
And he was able to stay on the lead lap.
And is that Carl Edwards pushing Reagan? Is he out of gas?
He could be.
Well, if Biffle's out of gas, the other Roush Fenway car
they would all be out. And Edwards did get, fuel in his on his pit stop, so he can push him around.
And that is legal during this time of the race. It's not on the last lap of the race. But it's okay to do right now.
You can see just how far some of these teams are trying to push this.
The only problem you'll have if this car isn't running is possibly speeding on pit road. So you have to be extremely careful not being able to have his tach running.
He's got a pit stall that's early on pit road, so he didn't have to carry any speed.
Second car in line behind the pace car is Ron Fellows in Tom Baldwin's 36th. Caution giving Fellows the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass. First driver a lap down. He'll come back around on the lead lap. Ron in 28th position at the moment. Kyle Busch as the caution came out.
Stay, bud, stay. Shut it down. Shut the engine off.
Crew Chief Dave Rogers there talking to Kyle.
He's coming down pit road.
So pit stops.
Good? Yeah.
Pit stops under the caution for the first 12 or so cars, Dave.
Glen Boyer happy to make it around. That was his in lap 2, but they left him out. He made it around, still under power. 4 tires, air pressure for a change for a loose race car. Shannon?
Well, Martin Truex Jr. was shutting that car down as much as he could under that caution. They're going to take 4 tires and a wedge adjustment to help the loose conditions. Doc?
Bottom right of your screen, Brad Keselowski says the car is really, really good. Popping off the field, 4 tires, no changes, and they say don't speed. Vince?
Kyle Busch had no issues. Car was just a little losing just a little bit of grip. They just made a slight air pressure adjustment for Kyle. Tony Stewart out as well. An air pressure adjustment. He says it's getting a little loose over the bumps, Alan.
See Jimmy Johnson pitting and just getting right side tires there on the 48 car.
That's a good move. I gained a lot of spots. It'll be hard to pass that many cars on the track.
But there are cars who did not pit under the yellow that will move to the head of the line. We'll reset the order and restart the race when we come back to Watkins Glen. Time for us to check out the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. Fastest Pit Crew determined by the winner of each race, the fastest pit time, and you, the fans, vote. Text the car number of your favorite to 234567 for your Pit Crew choice. Many of the pit crews have just finished some work under this first caution of today's race. Tony Stewart not having everything he wanted out of this pit stop. He was second to Kyle Busch when they came in.
Waiting. Look at all the cars going by. Very frustrating.
Yeah, you rev the engine a few times. That's letting them know.
Sorry about that there, bud.
I can just tell you that it doesn't help.
When
if you're having trouble revving that engine, don't help you.
That's right. I know. But what else are you doing?
I know.
So you see Tony way back there in line now.
Man.
Partly as a result of that pit stop problem, but partly as a result of the whole strategy shuffle that's just happened under this caution.
Yeah, we've got half a dozen cars or so that made those pit stops under green, stayed out. And then we had people like Dale Jr. that pitted right when the caution came out. He got a big break there. See right there, man, that was a long time in the pits.
What happened there, Vince?
You know, sometimes the yellow falls at the perfect time, and sometimes it's the worst time. It was the worst time for Stewart. They were just getting ready to come in when that yellow came out. And then Darian Grubb's crew over the wall on the left on the rear tire changing, knocked some lug nuts off on the change, and that was costly from a time perspective. And you guys documented that and the frustration of the driver when he's sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting as those cars go by him on pit road.
So some ground to make up there for Stewart, who's going to take this restart in 14th position.
He's going to be able to pass quite a few of these cars fairly easy because they're going to have to make another pit stop. One more pit stop than he will.
Front of the line, Ambrose, Montoya, Gordon, Earnhardt Jr., Vickers, Kane, Burton did not pit under the yellow. Remember, Burton and Earnhardt Jr. just beat the caution flag onto pit road. We go green, presented by American Ethanol. Two guys that raced for the win last year, Ambrose and Montoya, racing for the lead now.
Talked about a huge break for Dale Jr. there in that 4th spot. As he tries to stay inside the top 10 in the points, he needs to now take advantage of that great opportunity. See what he can do.
He was in 12th place when they ducked down pit road and got there just before that caution wave.
Well, now they have their track position. Now it's a matter of taking care of the car, doing the right things, and not making a mistake.
He's got to run good laps, though, because he's got fast cars behind him, and if he's not able to keep pace, it could still get him in trouble. Somebody could knock him off the track. So a lot of pressure on him right here.
Kurt Busch in the 22 car, you see back in traffic again, but he was able to stay on the lead lap. That last run.
And they took some time under that caution to make repairs to the left front that got torn up earlier in the race with his lap 3 spin out at the inner loop.
Martin Truex here as we look back to Jimmy Johnson. Martin having a great day. He has a very fast race car.
You know, we were talking about Martin earlier among ourselves as Kyle Busch looks to make a move and gain some of that track position lost to the strategy. Martin had a great run going out at the other road course on the circuit at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California. And in all the craziness that happened in the last laps there with people getting knocked off the course left and right.
Like this.
Like that.
His teammate there.
You're all good. 47's coming hard here. Coming right here outside of you. Coming outside of you. You're all clear.
Pretty good damage to Rudiman's car.
It's like might have got clipped as he got sideways. Somebody coming by there.
By the way, to finish the story on Truex, he finished 8th in that race out in California. What happened to Rudiman?
Well, he gets turned a little bit. That's a nice one.
He just didn't give Mark enough room. Mark did get into him, but he didn't give him much room. Mark was in there.
Looked like it might have possibly been the 51 car. Moore said that might have just got a little bit of the back of that Aaron's machine.
Coming this time, Pete. Coming this time. It's going to be 4,700 first.
Yeah, you got to get that cleaned up.
You see Kyle Busch in that shot there. He doesn't need to be pushing the issue with any of these cars in front of him because they are going to have to make at least, make one more stop than he is. So I would, if I was his crew chief, I would say, don't put yourself in a bad spot here.
Think he'll listen?
Yeah, I think he will, actually.
All right. Clean up some quick business there on that last restart. Bobby Labonte, Robbie Gordon, Andy Lally, Casey Mears, and TJ Bell took waiver rounds. All but Bell getting back on the lead lap. David Reagan lost a lap, getting pushed back around to pit road out of fuel. And by the time they got the car fired up, Reagan is now back in 35th place.
Yeah, back there talking as you see Junior pull over and let Kyle Busch go by, knowing how much faster he is. But I have to agree with you, Andy. Kyle Busch, I think that's part of the maturity process that we see with Kyle, being a lot more patient on the racetrack, becoming a championship type caliber driver now, Dave.
DJ Dale Jr. was on pit road when Greg Biffle ran out of fuel. Just sitting here getting a nice calm pit stop because crew chief Steve Letarte didn't have to make any anxious calls. You know, sometimes that call to come down here as Keselowski peeks inside Kane is a last-minute, last-second decision. At this point, they just got lucky, and Letarte has Jr. in a good spot right now.
Yeah, that was a lucky break. key for everybody. If they knew when that caution was coming out, they'd just try to get down, but right before. The only problem is you just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, you got to have some good luck in these races to make everything work your way. Either be that or as good as Marcus Ambrose is.
Ambrose back to the point. Led the race earlier from laps 9 to 16, then pitted. Kyle Busch took over the lead at that point. The caution came out before Kyle made his green flag pit stop. Ambrose stayed on the track under the caution while Kyle pitted, and that's why we've cycled around in the position that we have, 10 laps shy of halfway. The name of the race is the Heluva Good Sour Cream Dips at the Glen. Our telecast today is presented by GoDaddy.com, and Marcos Ambrose is the race leader. Marcos Ambrose leading today at Watkins Glen. Our telecast presented by GoDaddy.com. Nearing the halfway point, the fog and the cloud cover has lifted back up a little bit, and we are under green on a dry track. There's the gap from first back to second place, Juan Pablo Montoya.
Now, these two cars are running as hard as they can run. They need to make time. You see Marcus Ambrose now stretching it out a little bit, running pretty fast lap time, excellent lap times. And it's important for him to do that because he has to make an extra stop.
And Ambrose in from the lead. Sorry, Andy.
Wait, there's one of those extra stops, Dave.
Yeah, here it is. And Todd Parrott told me before they're going to make extra stops today. Not a losing strategy extra stops, but because he is on power and speed, not conservation mode. He'll get a little track bar adjustment. Car just still a little bit too tight for this driver who really likes to sling it around the road course. 4 fresh tires for Ambrose, and he's out of here. What lap, Alan?
That would be 38, Dave. And I'm sure the warning from Todd Parrott, don't speed.
52 laps to go, so he can split it up into 26 lap segments, or he, that's probably as good as he can do looking at the mileage, as fast as he's running and the way he's got it tuned.
So that puts Juan Pablo Montoya in the lead, Jeff Gordon second, and Kyle Busch up to third. This on his radio a few moments ago.
All right, but nice work. Nice and smooth. 24 and 42 ahead. 42 is really close on fuel. Let the 9 and the 42 run their stuff off. Don't worry about them.
Kyle Busch's maturity level and his relationship with Dave Rogers been one of the combinations that has led to the success of this 18 team this season. And Dave was telling me earlier this weekend that Kyle's done a really good job of providing information on exactly what he needs for the car to be better. And he believes that's one of the reasons why the 18 has seen that improvement. Kyle Busch continues to get better, not just on the track, but off the track. Dave Rogers says this 18 team is gelling together as a championship contender. They believe they've got a real shot at it.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of this thing today. The only thing I don't like is I see a little smoke going into turn 1, and if I was his spotter or crew chief, I'd say, let's ease up on those brakes getting in there for now. We don't need to race anybody. And that's something that Kyle may not be able to see and know that he's actually locking that inside front tire up.
Yeah, I have to agree with what Vince was alluding to there. Dave Rogers being a big part of Kyle's maturing, and he has control of this race team. He has one of the most talented drivers in his seat of his car, and he's getting the most out of him and making him a championship caliber driver now. And that they're going to be a dangerous team in this championship.
Checking back on Jeff Burton as Sprint brings you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Remember, Burton ducked onto pit road from 16th position just before the caution came out a minute ago. He came off the pit lane in 7th. So that makes Jeff the biggest mover on the day, up 27 positions since the start in car 31.
His new crew chief, Luke Lambert's doing a great job of keeping him in contention today.
For more NASCAR stats and a chance to win $1 million in the Sprint Summer Showdown, go to sprint.com/speed.
I have to say it's good to see something good happen to Jeff Burton in one of these races. They've had enough negative things to happen and things go wrong for them.
So the defending winner of this race, Juan Pablo Montoya, out in front. Speaking of sprint, a victory today would put Montoya into the Sprint Summer Showdown. Think about what we got so far. Paul Menard, Brad Keselowski, and with all the different winners we've had this year, 14 different winners in the races so far, who knows who the drivers might be that are going to race for that bonus in Atlanta.
That's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and obviously some charity people that are going to be excited, and also some race fans are going to be excited having the opportunity to see Jimmy Johnson making a move here on Casey Kane in the 4.
Saw him get 2 tires into that last caution.
Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly how that was working. He fell back there a little bit on the start. Comes Tony Stewart. He had his 4 tires. It just took him a while to get it all done.
Hate it when that happens. And Truex.
Yeah, you see, just you give up one spot, you get out of position there a little bit, and next thing you know, you've lost 3 positions.